And I remembered this, and I was like, let me look into that stuff because those look really cool. And I started just buying them. The first one I bought was Leprechaun 2. You can't really get much more random than that, but I guess the shirt kind of fits with that. But and then I got hooked on them. They were like my vinyl. They were just so fun. And this was before, they became, I don't want to say collectible. I don't know. But, this is before people would just start paying exorbitant amounts of money for them because they need it now instead of just waiting to pay a regular price. But what I wanted to do with these is I wanted to show some of these because right now we live in a collection world of special edition Blu-rays and massive deluxe editions that Arrow puts out, and I wanted to show what these Laserdisc equivalents were back then because these collectors things did exist back then. So here's an example of what would be, I think, a regular Blu-ray release that we would get today. Like Piz, you just reviewed Twice Dead. No slipcover, just a nice Blu-ray release. Well, here's an example of something like that. This is a deluxe letterbox of Cyborg.
Yes.
And, this was like the best way you could watch Cyborg when this movie came out. It was a good picture. And, So, and this was the first time I watched this movie was on Laserdisc. I love Cyborg. And, so that's kind of like what would be like a standard Blu-ray. I remember Cameron mentioned this, so I thought I would bring it out. What's interesting about Scream is this is the director's cut. So when I first watched this, there was a scene in in a gas station convenience store where they're getting something to drink in the gas station. There's some dialogue. It's nothing groundbreaking extra, except in the beginning, you get to see the boyfriend getting gutted and you see his intestines fall on the ground longer in the beginning of Scream. And then they actually hold the scene on Drew Barrymore hanging a little bit longer. So this Laserdisc is still, in my opinion, the best way to watch Scream. So those are a couple editions like that. Now we get into what I would consider the slipcase, if you will, versions of Laserdiscs. And the equivalent to me would be something that has a gatefold. And it's also a widescreen nice release. Right here, I have the best werewolf movie from the 80s. It's called The Howling. And this is a gatefold release from Image Entertainment, which was a really cool company. And as you can see, you open it up. And a lot of cool things about these Laserdiscs was you could learn so much. Look at all that writing. That buddy you have, Piz, that you did that show with, Michael, I forgot his name, Gingold, is that his name?
Yeah.
He would have a lot of writing to do if he was doing these Laserdiscs still to this day, because look at all that. I mean, there's so much information and pictures. And again, I watched these, and at the time when these came out, these were like the coolest way to watch these movies. This was the film fans format. This was the real deal. And I still think that Laserdisc has some releases that are, quite frankly, my favorite ways to watch some of these movies. Now, what I have here, I have a couple more I want to show, is what I would consider the chunky box Arrow releases. You get those thick Arrow cases, and you get posters, and you get the discs, and you get all this artwork and stuff. Well, here's a release I want to show for Jaws. Now, this is the Universal Signature Collection. Look how thick that is.
Oh, wow.
So in here, and I love this, you've got the Laserdisc. In case anybody's never seen one, I'll pull one out very delicately because I actually still use this Laserdisc right here. It's a very nice release. This is a Laserdisc. It's a big analog disc.
Do you have to flip those over?
You do have to flip these over. And one thing I want to mention about this, and I'm not the most technical guy, I'll explain what I know. So with Laserdisc, there was two types of disc. There was a CLV disc and there's a CAV disc. Technically speaking, CAVs are supposed to have a little bit better picture and the frame rates are supposed to seem better. But they were only 30 minutes aside. So a lot of aficionados back then like this kind of thing, and Universal, when they put this out, they made Jaws a CAV movie, so you were very busy watching this movie. You had to get up every 30 minutes and flip it. Granted, you could get Laserdisc players that could flip the reader on the device, which I have one, so I don't have to get up. And this also comes with an amazing documentary. And I'll tell you why it's amazing, Piz, because when this was made, everybody was still young enough to remember things. So the documentary is very informative in this release. And not only that, which is really cool, is look at this. When you take this out, you take out the movies, you get, of course, what would be like your little booklet that you would get in an Arrow release nowadays. And you get all kinds of cool pictures.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's not done. Look at this. This release came with the novel, and it also came with the original CD soundtrack for Jaws.
Oh my
Nice.
god, that is so
Awesome.
cool.
It's one of the coolest releases I ever bought, and I bought it for like $40.
That is
So
incredible.
this is what you would call like the deluxe one. Now, one more I want to show. It did to 2,500 units. That's it. And I have number 1,080. So when you pull out this release, and I just want you to see the nuances on the cover. If you look
That is
close
a
enough,
cool
you can
box.
actually see the face of the Hell Priest.
Oh,
Not Pinhead, the
Oh,
Hell
cool.
Priest. Let's get that right. So you pull this out, and again, this was thick. So we like our thick, sturdy cases back then. So again, a lovely gatefold with beautiful art on this release. And this is like the release that Clive Barker, he supervised everything on this. Back then they really got filmmakers, which they still do now. I'm not saying they don't, but we think about how great we have it now. Laserdisc gave it to you back then. It did. They gave you everything you wanted with home video back then. So you open this up, and you've got this beautiful picture. And look at this, Piz. You recognize that logo right there?
I do indeed.
Anchor Bay. Again, great liner notes on here. And it's really about the making of the film. It's not just blowing smoke up your butt saying the scariest film, yada, yada. But what's so cool about this one is it comes with the script. How many releases give you the script of the film? And wait up. It's autographed by Clive Barker.
Oh
I don't know if
my
I can get the
God.
glare off
That is
there.
Awesome.
Very
So,
nice.
and I've read this, and the tone of this script is even darker, which is really interesting. And look at this. On the inside, it's lined with artwork from some of the teaser stuff, I believe. I just wanted to show you guys the coolest format still to this day, Laserdisc, and some of the most amazing releases that they've ever put out. See more clips just like this, be sure to subscribe to the Region Free YouTube channel, and also check out the Patreon to get exclusive content and become a Regionaire.